Sahanau bhunaktu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai Ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Brahma Vida Apnoti Param Om Brahma Vida Apnoti Param Tadesha Bhyukta Tadesha Bhyukta Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman Soshnute Sarvan Kamaan Saha Soshnute Sarvan Kamaan Saha Brahmana Vipashchiteti Brahmana Vipashchiteti. Yeah, recording. Yeah. So come here, Lydia. Yeah. Here, right there in that. She'll have more room. There we go. Yeah. Are you okay there? You want to sit in the chair? Then there's a chair here. You're okay? All right. Okay. The limited person, the one who thinks I am only as good as this body, I am as good as the mind. You know, everywhere there is some little catch. I am as good as my emotions. You know, if something, I am as good as my possessions, that is also there. Yeah, I am as good as my house, I am as good as the window in the house, I am as good as the carpet in the house, so many things. So all this is a kind of all these are pursuits because of ignorance. Because of ignorance, there are two things that are happening. Number one, I identify with what I am not. What am I not? I am not my house, right? But if somebody is going by and saying, oh, what an ugly house. Let's say they are taking a walk with you. Hey, that's my house. What do you mean it's ugly? It's really good. Only last year I had a new coat of paint. And then you start looking. Oh. So I don't identify, first of all, I identify with all the things that I'm not. I'm not my body. But still what happens? I don't like the body. Oh, something is wrong. It's never the right thing. It's never the right height. It's never the right weight. It's never the right skin color. It's never the right, proportion. It's either too big or too small, too fat, too thin, too tall, too short. This is the thing. So therefore, if the body is short, what do I say? I am short. If the body is tall, what do I say? I am tall. So there is that kind of an identification with everything that I am not. This is the first mistake. The first mistake is identifying with what I am not. Okay? What is the second mistake? Let's have it right at the beginning so we can get it over with.
Not saying it out loud, not knowing what we know.
Exactly. The second mistake is not owning up to, not assimilating, not identifying with what one is. What is one? Limitless, whole, full, complete, fearless. Why? Because there is no other. There is nothing other than oneself, really. And that self happens to be Brahman already. What is Brahman? It's written here on the first line itself. Brih dhatu. Dhatu means root. In Sanskrit is brih. Brih means big. What is this big? Big means what? It's a relative term. If I say, look at this big mustard seed, where are you going to look? Here. Because among the mustard seeds, a big mustard seed, okay, maybe, it'll be at least visible to the naked eye, you're thinking, especially if you're after 40. Yeah. Now, big means what? Big mustard seed. Then that is one way of understanding big. If I say, look at a big mountain, are you going to go like this? No, you're going to go like that. So it's all relative. Here, Brahman means that which is limitlessly big. That is what in Sanskrit. Big without an overarching size ascribed to it. That which is limitless, that which is big, that which is whole, which is complete. So this Brahman, I am, I don't see. Sometimes I don't want to see. Why? Because the mind has already come to certain conclusions. What if this knowledge doesn't work? Because so many things I have tried, nothing has worked. No diet has worked. Nothing has worked except for 5 minutes, and then back to what? Square one. Nothing has worked. So how do I know that this is going to work? So therefore what? At least I am limited. Let me be what I am. Yeah. If you are happy being limited, fine, no problem. No problem at all. But one wants to have the cake, eat it too, and then not put on weight. How is that possible? How is that possible? Yeah, because every action has a consequence. If one identifies with that which is limited, so one will feel what? Limited. And if one cannot stand one's limitations, one has to get rid of them. How? Generally, what does the person do? The person does all kinds of, antics to get rid of limitations. It is called Lady Macbeth syndrome. What did Lady Macbeth do? What did she do? Have you read the play Macbeth? No. When you read it, you will see this Lady Macbeth plotted to put a king, give one king instant moksha. And his name was Duncan. Instant moksha means tata bye bye from this life. Okay? Yeah. So Lady Macbeth plotted to kill this king. King died, her husband became the king, she became the queen, but she could not get rid of the guilt. Every day, what would she do? Every day she would somehow be fine. Every night she would walk through the halls of the palace saying, out, out, damn spot, out, damn spot. Where was the spot? Here or here? Ah. So the limitations, like the spots, are in the head. They are not visible. They are not, we can use the word real. They are not real. So then that brings us to two questions. If something is not real, then why does a person go about removing that which is not real? That which is not real need not be removed because it doesn't pose a threat. Like my shadow has a certain kind of a limited entity. It's depending on the light, and that light casts the shadow. So my shadow enjoys, it's non-real, it doesn't enjoy the same level of reality that I do. And yet what? And it cannot pose a threat. So I don't go to the doctor, plastic surgeon, saying what? I'd like to have my shadow operated upon and removed because I'm tired of casting this shadow. What is this all the time? It's like this dark thing following me all the time. Already I feel under a dark cloud, this stupid shadow is already there, and I think I'll be a much better person without a shadow. So can you please operate and cut it out? Not even the best plastic surgeon can oblige you. Why? Because it does not pose a threat, number one, and number two, it does not have the same kind of reality that you do. It does not pose a threat. So therefore, you cannot remove the shadow. You need not remove the shadow. So the limitations that one faces in one's life are kind of like this shadow. How are they like the shadow? Because they keep advertising their existence. They keep advertising their existence again and again and again, especially when one is in contact with one's people, especially when one is in contact with oneself, especially when one is in contact with all kinds of things external to oneself, or so one thinks. Therefore, one tries to remove that which is not there. Yeah. If you press that button, a lot of people online will not be very happy. Yeah. I'm talking to a 10-month-old child. I have to tell them who I'm talking to, otherwise they won't know. Yeah, I'm talking to a 10-month-old child who's trying to press the delete button. Okay? Yeah. So therefore, the shadow need not be removed. The shadow cannot be removed, it is here to stay. So the limitations are like the shadow. Not knowing that is a very costly mistake. Why? Because it costs you a whole life. It costs you life after life after life, because the whole life you're trying to remove that which cannot be removed. You're trying to get rid of things that don't exist. Yeah. I hate this, I hate this. What is this that you hate? Oh, it's nothing. Oh, okay. What else do you don't like? Some more of nothing. What else is, giving you a problem? A lot of nothing. Yeah. A lot of nothing is giving me a problem. What are you troubled by? A lot more of nothing. So this way, one keeps going against the grain of one's better judgment and one's better knowing. Why? Because one is always trying to remove limitations that are notional. The limitations enjoy a reality, yes. You cannot say it is not real. Yes, they enjoy a limited reality in terms of living with them in terms of understanding what their place is in my own identification of myself. If one accords the limitation a lot more space than what one has, then what is due to them, then what happens is that one is really on a downward spiral. Yeah. You get very much embroiled in this whole kind of a rubric of trying to get rid of the limitations in order to become limitless. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you get rid of the limitations in order to become limitless. This is what everybody is trying to do in their life through various pursuits. Those pursuits, I was giving a talk in Lane Community College, and this is what I was talking about: security-based and pleasure-based pursuits. All pursuits come under two, really: security-based pursuits and pleasure-based pursuits. Security pursuits are what? Money. Nobody wants money for money. You don't want to put it under the mattress. Money is for what? So that I feel, okay, I'm all right. The country is coming crashing down, but I'm okay. Yeah. That is why the money is not for the sake of money. The money is for the sake of feeling secure. Artha. Artha means security. Artha pursuit, security. Then what do you have? Pleasure-based pursuit. Kama pursuits. So the whole life one is going after artha kama pursuits, security-based pursuits and pleasure-based pursuits. For what? To remove the sense of limitations that bug the person. That one is insecure, one cannot stand. That one is ignorant, one cannot stand. That one cannot stand oneself, one cannot stand. So to repair all this, what do? To repair all this, I just keep pursuing this and that in time, in space. But what I really want is something that's beyond time and space. Something that is limitless. So the limited pursuits cannot lead me to the limitless. This is the truth. That which is limited cannot manufacture limitlessness. Limitlessness, like I said yesterday, is not a product. It's not a product. Why? Because it is not created. If it is created, anything that is produced, anything that is created is what? Limited. Anything that is created is limited, and anything that is finite, alone can be created. That which is created is finite. That which is finite alone is created. It includes everything, including experience. Yeah. So therefore, I cannot experience limitlessness. Why can't I experience limitlessness? Because the experiencer is limitless. If the experiencer is limitless, the experience is one that goes and comes in time. Experiences are finite, the experiencer is limitless, infinite. So that which is infinite alone, I want. That which is infinite alone, I would like to have. And what do you do with that? That which is infinite, I happen to already be that which is infinite. So what choice does it leave one? It leaves no choice other than to understand that the fundamental human problem is not that one is limited, it is that one doesn't know that one is limitless. That is the fundamental problem. Otherwise, all the pursuits that I pursue should give me happiness for more than a little while. But everything that I pursue makes me happy for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 days, perhaps 1 month, 1 year, Even 5 years after that, back to ground zero. I can't use ground zero, that means the place where they were bombing that, yeah. So back to square one, whatever you want to say. Back to square one. Why? Because I just do not know that I am infinite, so therefore I try to produce this infinity through various pursuits, in time and in space. So there is some kind of a missed connection between sadhana and sadhya. Sadhana means the means, sadhya the goal. So the goal and the means should always be aligned together. If I want to go to New York, I have to catch a plane going to New York. Yeah. But if I catch a plane going to, Kansas, and then say, somewhere, and then say, how come I'm here? Are we still here? Are we in New York? You cannot ask that question after going to, Wichita. How come I landed in Wichita? What did I do? Why do I have such bad karma that each time I want to go to New York, I end up in Wichita? You cannot ask that question. Why? Because one has already made the choice. How? In the means that one employs. Once you have made the choice of using the means, of course the means will take you to that end. If you want to go to New York, you have to catch a plane headed for New York. That is how it is. In fact, nowadays the planes are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Tiny, tiny planes. And they are all standing there. And they are so small that they don't have what are those vestibular gates? What are they called? Those gates.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah, everybody knows what I mean. So I don't know what they are called. Those gates that are projecting out, and then you walk on them, and then they lead you to the plane. These planes are so small that they cannot even fit with any of the gates that they have made, because they are trying to cut the costs and pack people in like sardines, whatever. So they're all standing there. There'll be 5-6 planes. And then, they take your boarding pass and they just say, go through that gate. If you go through that gate, you don't know which plane to get on. And once what happened, one small plane going to Tallahassee, I got on that. Thankfully, I was on the right plane. And then, the first thing they say is what? The flight attendant says, this is a small plane headed to whatever airline, half of the airlines you don't even know the names. So this is a small plane headed to Tallahassee. If Tallahassee is not your destination, please get off. 3 people got off. 3 people got off. Why did 3 people get off? Because they were on the wrong flight. Yeah. Then they said, oh, they have also checked some bags. What's going to happen? How? Where? And then they were shown their correct plane wherever they were going. Yeah. In life also, this is what one has to do. One has to make the right choice, get into the right aircraft, get into the right, means taking you to the correct goal. How do I know what is the goal? How do I know that security and pleasure-based pursuits are not the final goal? How? That's a good question, How do I know? Because after gaining security, there is still a sense of insecurity. That's how I know. Yeah. No matter how many houses I have, no matter how many cars I have, no matter how many, children one has, no matter how many times one has been married, still there is a sense of insecurity centered on the self. This persisting insecurity is the key to understanding that there is something wrong with what I am doing. It is not working. It's back to square one. It feels like a deja vu. I have somehow been here. Yeah, that's what the hamster also thinks when it's going round and round. Looks like I've been here before. Who is thinking that? Hamster. When going on wheel. The hamster going on the wheel is also saying the same thing. It seems like I've been here before. Yeah. So, this whole kind of a pursuit has to be turned around. Has to be turned around to understand that this limitation, first of all, is something that comes and goes. In sleep, the limitation is not there. When I'm happy, the limitation is not there. When I'm, satisfied or contented, the limitation is not there. This limitation keeps coming and going. Therefore, it is what? It is not infinite. That which comes and goes is not infinite. That which comes and goes is not permanent. So what I want is permanent. Whether I, seek that permanence in a relationship or a job or any kind of a thing, that is what I want. So what I want and where I am headed seems to be like two ships passing in the night. Two different directions. The means and the ends do not match. And one goes with a rankling feeling of discontent. And suddenly one walks into a class where we are talking about the fact that the knower of the self gains the ultimate. What? The knower of the self, Brahmavid, the knower of Brahman, forget the self, okay? The one who knows Brahman gains that which is ultimate. The one who knows Brahman gains the ultimate. Oh, really? Yes. So what is the next question? What is Brahman? Who is Brahman? Yeah. What is this Brahman? Because if that is what is going to give me what I want, then I need to know what is this Brahman. And that is what this is about. Brahman is really oneself. So then the next line defines Brahman. First line says Brahmavit. Brahmavit means knower of Brahman. Brahma Vetti iti Brahmavit. The one who knows Brahman. You know so many things, right? That none of the iPod, so many things, what a movie is, what internet is, what so many the name of some vague star in the firmament, so many things. But that is not relieving you of the limitations. So how come, what is so special about this word and the meaning of the word Brahman that is going to remove the limitations? Well, it happens to be you. That's the only secret about Brahman. Brahmavit is Atmavit. The one who knows Brahman is the one who knows the self. Why? Because Brahman is the self. How come Brahman is the self? Because that is what you want to be, and that is what one already knows that one is. One knows that one is that. How? Because one is keeping on wanting to be timeless, wanting to be happy always. If that is not one's real nature, why would one be wanting that? Like there was no tomorrow. So that limitlessness that one craves, we have already said, it cannot be created. It's not a product of creation, number one. Number two, that limitlessness, if it is there, has to include me in it. I have to be included in it. There can be nothing that is limitless outside of me. What happens if that's the case? If there is something as limitless and it is somewhere over there, what will I be saying? Look at that wonderful limitlessness. Means what? I am limiting that. Why? Because if I am outside the whole, W-H-O-L-E, what remains is the whole, H-O-L-E. Yeah. So if there is a whole, it should include me. If I take myself out of the whole, then I am not the whole. There is no whole without me. Thank God. So this makes it possible to have the next 3-4 days of classes, this very thing. Otherwise, you can pack up the equipment right now. Yeah. But the fact that we can really say right now that there is no whole without me. Without oneself, there is nothing that is the whole. There is no hole possible. That we can prove right now, that we can see that right now, gives a lot of hope for the next few days. So we can say Brahmavit apnoti param. Apnoti means ap, to gain. Apnoti, gains. Param. Param means the most one can get. Oh, more money? Yes. More time? Yes. What we are talking of is beyond money and time, but yeah, whatever those represent, yes. More friends? Yes. Whatever the friends represent in your life, you can get by knowing Brahman. Heaven? Yes. Heaven also, if it's a desired object that one is wanting to go to, you can get even without going there. By how? Knowing Brahman. You can get that. Oh, so this ultimate, this limitlessness that I can get from knowing Brahman, what is this Brahman? That is the next question. That begs the question. So the Brahman is defined in the next line. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. What is Brahman? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. 3 words to describe Brahman. 3 words. Supposing there is a pond of lilies and I say, please bring me a lily. What are you going to do? You are going to say, which lily? Big lily. There are many big lilies. Which big lily? The big blue lily. There are many big blue lilies. This is a great pond. Which big blue lily? Bring me the fragrant, big, blue lily. Ah, okay. There's only one fragrant, big blue lily. So it's easy to distinguish among all the lilies. I pick that one which is big, blue and fragrant. And then I bring it. So when you say, when the Brahman is described as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, that means what? There are many Brahmans, right? Out of that, bring me the Satyam Brahma. There are many Satyam Brahmans. Okay, bring me the Satyam Jnanam Brahma. There are many Satyam Jnanam Brahmans. Bring me the Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Okay, that's the clincher. Correct? No. No. Why? Why? Because this Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam are not adjectival to Brahman. This is first thing we have to understand. It is not adjectival. It's not adjectival means what? An adjective, Visheshana, describes, it not describes, distinguishes many things. One thing from other things in its own class. Lilies, one class. Out of that, yellow lily, big lily, blue lily, fragrant lily, yesterday's lily, all that, this is what we say, adjective. Swajatiyebhyah vishayebhyah vyavartakam visheshanam. Lot of Sanskrit to say. Adjective is that which distinguishes one thing from other things in its own class. Okay? How many Brahmans are there? One, that is what we are talking of. One which is limitless, non-dually one. So here, it is not an adjective because we don't need an adjective to distinguish to distinguish what? There is no distinction needed. There is no distinction needed. It's the only thing there is, and so there is nothing to distinguish from anything else. Therefore, what? Therefore, we say that this is not the adjective. Satyam, the words, we will see what they mean. presently, the words Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam are not adjectival to Brahman. Because an adjective, it's only like when you say tall tree. There are many trees, look at the tall tree. There are many Brahmans, look at the tall Brahman. No, because that is all there is. So this is not a definition, this is not a description or a adjectival function of these words. It is a definition. It is not a visheshana, it's a lakshana. Lakshana means definition of Brahman. Brahman is defined as Sat Chit Ananda. You must have heard the word Sat Chit Ananda. Brahman, it's the same as what is written here, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. No other thing. That's what it is. And this is the definition. So when we say Satyam means what? That which is. That's all. That's the definition of Brahman, that which is. So many things are. This pen is. This computer is. This table is. This chair is. This body is. So therefore Brahman is also is. There is a little bit of a difference between that is, all these things that are, and Brahman's being. What we are talking about here, chair, table, computer, body is in the room, body is online, all these are what? In time and space. Time bound. Here today, gone tomorrow. Here now, not here later. So time bound. Time bound means it enjoys a certain reality which is finite. When I say Brahman is, means this is a different kind of is than bodies, things in flower, any object, fruit, pot. Where is our pot? We need our pot. So, pot, etc. are all in time and space. There was a time when this pot, was not. There was the time when the pot is, and tomorrow or day after tomorrow, there will be a time when the pot is not. All you have to do is just drop it from a height, gone. It becomes what? A crack pot. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take long for a pot to become a crack pot. So therefore, everything that one can see, everything that one can objectify with the five senses is finite. Oh, yes. Everything that one experiences is finite. See, that's one good reason to not want to experience Brahman. Yeah. Everything that one interacts with, finite. Everything that one can name, finite. In time, in space. Everything that one can call out to, finite. Everything that one can have a transaction with, finite. What about the one who is having the transaction? Infinite. What about the one who is having the experience? Infinite. What about the one who is engaging in the transactions? Infinite. Thought, finite. Thinker, infinite. Experience, finite. Experiencer, infinite. Meditation, finite. Meditator, nature of the meditator, infinite. Therefore, you can say that this Brahman is that which is not bound by time, bound by space. Three kinds of limitations are knocked off by the word Sat. Sat means being. Being. Being means what? Being. still being, going on being on being. We can go on and on, but I won't. I think you got the idea. Being means now. Because when you break up time, all there is now. No, what about the past? I have so many grudges, I could give you some to hold. Yeah, what about the past? You are forgetting the past. How can you say it's all now? When are you thinking about the past? In the past? Are you thinking and lamenting the grudges in the past? No. When? Now? No, but you don't know all the worries I have about the future. All those horrible things that may happen. When are the worries there? In the future, you are worrying about the future in the future? No, what? Now only I am worried about. How will I be worried about in the future? It's not here yet. Exactly. Past is when? Now. Past is relived? Now. No, but what about in the past? Really, at that time I was going through so many hardships. That was then the present. That was also now. When the past was the past, now I'm confusing myself. When the past was the past, it was the present. Yeah. When the future will be the present, it is still the present. There is never a time that the future is in the future. There is a time that is in the past. Past is now. Past is past. That's why it's called past. It has passed. Yeah. Then future means what? It's just, in the head. That's what it is. Future is in the head. Future is not in the future. Future is not even in the present. Future is in the head. Yeah. It's just some kind of wishful thinking. That's all. Yeah. Or wishless thinking if one is hopeless. Both the things you have. Tick, 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 tick. Now. Let's say 1 minute is over. Now. The now has no time at all. The now is timeless. The now is really has no time. Because really all the time is a construct. Really. Who said 24 hours is one day? Suddenly somebody woke up and said that. Based on the sun. And then on top of that, to make people confused, there is daylight saving time. What is saved, I'm not sure, but still, there is daylight saving time, standard time, this time, that time, international date line. There is some country through which the international date line goes. On this side, it is Monday, that side, it's already Tuesday. This is all arbitrary. Yeah. They are not only in the same time zone, they are also in a different this thing. They are also in a different day. And then, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, it's all arbitrary, based on certain conveniences for the sake of transactions. We are not interested in transactions because we are interested in the nature of the person who is engaging in these transactions. So for the convenience of the transactions, these arbitrary past, present, future, Tuesday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday are done. And in fact, if you look at the history of England, there is a marked difference from how time was conceptualized before the Industrial Revolution and after the revolution, after the Industrial Revolution. There is this excellent book, Making of the English Working Class, by E.P. Thompson. You should read it. It's really amazing. And in this book, he talks, this is exactly what he talks about, how time is a big construct. Why is it a construct? Because really, before that, people were in their houses. Somebody would come and give, the people would shear the sheep. Shear means, cut their hair, okay? So people would give the sheep a haircut, and then after that those things would be combed, the wool would be combed, and all the impurities and the lanolin would be taken out. Some other families did that. Then the cleaned wool was given to somebody else to spin the yarn, literally, okay, not figuratively. Spinning yarn means telling lies. Yeah. So the whole families would sit together and spin the yarn. Then they would deliver the yarn to somebody else's house who would knit them into sweaters. And then somebody else would go to the market and then sell it. And the money that was, sold, there was then equally distributed based on different, different things. It was based on how much labor one has put out. It was called the putting out system. So the families worked together. They were not alienated from what they produced. They were not alienated from the means of production. They were just, connected to their people, connected to what they produced. There was kinship, there was everything. And suddenly the industrial revolution came, mechanized all the things, and half of the families had to just drop off the planet. There was nothing else to do. Then what? Then they thought of this factory system. Why one person has to sit and make the whole sweater? All one person should do is make the collars and the cuffs. Assembly line. One after the other, you just make the collar after collar after collar after collar after collar. Then what? You can't pull your collar up for anything because you haven't really done anything. You're alienated from everything. Yeah. And after, producing, 350 cuffs, doing nothing but, producing 350 cuffs in one day, you feel like cuffing someone after coming home from work. That's all that happens. There's nothing else because one is alienated from everything. So this whole 9 to 5 with a siren sounding at 8:30, they were doing that. In India, they still do that in certain areas. 8:30 the siren sound, or 7:30, whichever it is. Oh! Then what? You're supposed to start going to work then. You should be there. And then you knock it all off at a certain time and you go home and then you just, you're a vegetable. Then that's why they had to invent the television. Because what to do with these vegetables at home? Yeah, you have to put them in front of the TV. You see, each thing is begetting another thing. Yeah. So time is a construct. Space is also a construct. Why is space a construct? Because, somebody said, this is something that happened, we don't have a very big house. And this was when I had first come into this country. So, in India, big house, small house is very relative. In one bedroom flat, 15 people will easily live. Not a problem. Yeah, not a problem. Easily. Yeah, 5 people in living room, 5 people in dining area, 5 people in the bedroom. 3 families live in Mumbai. This is how it is. Calcutta, Mumbai, if you go to the big metropolises, that is how it is. So our house is not very big means what? I was thinking, okay, not very big means, okay, maybe it's 2-3 bedrooms, whatever expectations one has. Then I go and see it was this huge house. Huge. In fact, you couldn't see it with 2 eyes. You had to move the head slightly to take in the whole thing. I said, but your house is so big, why do you say it's not very big? He says, oh, that is very, very easily explainable, said the host. Just look around you. Then I looked at other houses and they were, 3 times the size of this one. This is what it is. So space again is relative. How much room? What is your personal space? In India, there is no concept of personal space. I need space. No, you don't even know what that means. I never learned how to say I need space in India. Yeah. That, your space was in your head, in the thoughts. Yeah. You spaced out. That's all it was. If you didn't want to participate, you enjoyed the space in your head by spacing out. Your space was at your end of the sofa. That's all. That was the space. There was no the whole understanding I need to take some space. I'm just being overwhelmed. That concept is not there. because that's how you live, that's how you grow up. But in the West, where there is more space, space becomes a privilege. Then suddenly, you have this huge house and somebody is with you for 5-6 days, then you start feeling, when are they going to leave? Yeah, they've stayed so long. When are they leaving? Our style is cramped. I need more elbow room. Space again arbitrary. Space is relative. Time is relative. Space is a construct. Time is a construct. What we are talking about has to be beyond time and space, and what we don't understand is how to, if we are so bogged down by time and space, how do you recognize that which is timeless? How on earth, where can that concept come from? How to know something that is timeless when all I know is, even my definition of eternal. When you say eternal means what? It's like an in-law or an outlaw hanging around for a long time. Yeah, that is all it is. Eternal means hanging around in time for a long time. That's why if somebody is 5 minutes late to meet you, you had said they would be there at 5 o'clock. You had made a plan to meet somebody. You were there at 5 o'clock, but they were not there at 5 o'clock. Then what? They come at 5:20. I have been waiting for you for an eternity. I have been waiting for you eternally. Why were you late? So this whole concept of eternity, other than the pronunciation, one does not know. Why? Because one is mired in the limitations and one interacts, anything that one interacts with is limited, anything that one wants to be limited, anything that one is seeking limited or seeking through the channels limited. So therefore, how do I understand that I am the only thing that is limitless? Because I can understand that how? By understanding that I am, therefore everything is. That I am, I know, correct? Do you know that you are? Yeah? Last time there was a big gap. Yeah, in answering. I said, supposing if the lights go out and I say, are you there? What will you say? Huh? Yes. Yeah. Yes. You have to say yes. If you say no, that means you're asleep. Or we will not go there. So you have to say yes. That I am is not mysterious. That I am is always there. And the same I inhabits the waking state, correct? In the waking state, what all happened? Who knows? I only know. In the dream state, what happens? Who knows? I alone know. In the sleep state, what happens? Other people know, but still, I know I slept well. When I wake up in the morning and somebody asks me, how did you sleep? What do you say? I slept well. How do you know? Because the mind is there in a causal way, there is a certain kind of awareness. So that I, which is that conscious presence which is myself, that conscious presence, let us call that consciousness, that awareness, that conscious awareness, that consciousness is the witness of the dream, the sleep and the waking states. The states come and go. That's why they are called states. State is what you get into and get out of. But the one that gets into the state is free of states. The one that gets out of the state or gets into the state, the one who inhabits the states is constant. The states come and go. How do I know this? Because I know. Waking, me. Dreamer, me. Sleeper, me. And when you show me a 3-year-old photograph, this is me. Oh, really? This is you? It looks nothing like you. No, it is me. How do you know it's you? No, my mother told, my father told. Okay, your father, mother may have told. But how do you know it's you? Because you had inhabited that 3-year-old body, 10-year-old body, 20-year-old body, 40-year-old body, 60-year-old body, 80-year-old body, 106-year-old body. After that, we don't have to go further. Yeah. The longest lived person, I think, is in Japan or somewhere, 113 years old. Yeah. He just celebrated his birthday last month. 113. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the thing, So I know that I lived in this body. I know that I was small. I know that because I have memory, I have recollection, and I know the memories may change, but I am the one who inhabits those memories. I carry those memories. And the carrier of the memories come and go, the carrier is constant. And this constancy alone is based on one's experience. So all the experience buffs who were here yesterday, where are they? This is what we have to tell them. That the experience is what? The experience is there. The one who cognizes the experience does not come and go. Because I know I am. I know I am constant. And not only do I know I am constant, but I also know that I don't need to be established by anybody else or by any authority figure. Yeah. That there is, what is that called? That Hawking effect, right? The Hawking effect has to be established by who? Hawking. That's why it's called Hawking effect. Yeah. What it is, Professor Deshpande will tell you after class. You can see him. But the Hawking effect is established, was something that was discovered by Stephen Hawking, and so therefore it's called Hawking effect. So similarly, penicillin is associated with what? Fleming, Alexander Fleming. In fact, he discovered it by accident. He was just trying to grow some mold. Science experiment, that's all they could do before. He was trying to grow some bacteria and mold. And suddenly, in one petri dish, suddenly they all died. And he said, what? What is killing them? Then he realized it was this particular mold that was killing the bacteria, and that is how penicillin was discovered. So really, when you have established something, the name of that effect or that particular discovery is associated with that person. So theory of relativity, all this thermodynamics, all these things, Newton, Einstein, Newton, all these people, it is associated with. Who shall we give the credit for establishing the self? That I am. Huh? Which historian, which rishi, which sage, which scientist, which person, which gold medalist, which Nobel Prize winner shall we give the credit for establishing the self? Huh? See, Lydia is saying something. Who? Me. Me alone. Me alone. No scientist needs to come and tell me, tap me on the shoulder. Yes, hello, you exist. Tomorrow in the paper, Nobel Prize given to the one who has discovered the self, who has established the self. No, invented the self. No, I know I am. I alone am the scientist. Why? Because I am. I know that. In fact, everything in the whole wide world needs to be established except the self. Really? Yes. That is what we say, the self is self-evident. That I am is evident to me, and everything else is the being of everything else also evident to me. my own being evident to me, the being of other things in this world evident to me alone. Yeah. So nobody needs to establish the self. No rishi, no scientist, no, economist, nothing. Why? Because the self need not be established. That is what we mean by Svatasiddhaha, already established. By whom? By myself. I am in charge of establishing myself. In fact, I am an already established fact and self-revealing. I am evident to me and everything in the world evident to me. This is the Sat. This is the Sat. This is the real Sat. That this I, we say, is beyond time, beyond space, beyond any kind of, limitations. This I happens to be free of time, space and object-wise limitation. And this I happens to be therefore Brahman, because the definition of Brahman is that which is Sat. What else is Sat? I am Sat. Oh, so there are two things, me and Brahman going for a walk? No. You are Brahman. That is the Shastra. You are that which is the cause of this universe. How? That we shall see tomorrow. Sat. This Sat happens to be sentient. This Sat happens to be limitless. Sentient means Jnanam, Jna. Limitless means Ananda, Ananta. That we will see more of this tomorrow. So we will chant the closing prayer and have some time for interaction questions. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Questions? Any questions? Doubts? That's good, if there are no doubts.
I can sort of intellectually understand that I am infinite.
Yeah.
But what more is required, really? That intellectualism doesn't seem to get me to the state of being one with the infinite.
That's a very good question. The question is, I can intellectually understand that I am infinite. This is a great thing. We should celebrate that first. Yeah. This is wonderful. But what is it that I need in order to, what did you say? In order to what?
Go beyond that and
go beyond that intellectual understanding and really know that you are infinite. Yeah. Well, the thing is this, that one is infinite is you already understand. Why? Because who occupied the body of baby Gordon? You. How do you know? Because you were there. That's all. Yeah. Who occupied the body of 15-year-old Gordon? You. Who is occupying the body now? You. So it's that same you that always is. That is constant. So if you can get that much, that is enough. Because then how come in my interactions I just don't understand that? That means there are certain habitual orientations that need to go. And go they will. How do the habitual orientations go? By repeated exposure to the knowledge. How long have I to listen to this? If you're asking that in that tone, for a long time. Why? Because this pursuit should be, this pursuit should be very free. This pursuit is all about oneself, and one really wants to know about oneself. Yeah. So that's why even in the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna tries to be very clever and ask in 2-3 ways. So when is it that you said I would get the knowledge? It reminds me that, when we had a meeting on Sunday and there was this 4-year-old. So she would always come with some other people. She was allowed to have only 2 chocolates, which she had already exceeded her quota. And she would come when somebody else was leaving and receiving the chocolate. She would say, "Can I have my prasad now too?" "You've already had prasad." "Oh, okay." And she would go away. And again come back. "Can I have my prasad now?" Yeah. So that itself tells it illustrates what I am saying. So, it's like Arjuna keeps asking the same question. When am I going to get this knowledge? And Bhagavan Krishna, with great compassion and great tact, both, used to say what? With great compassion and great tact, would say what? Not too long hereafter. Oh, really? Months, days? Not too long hereafter. Not after a very long time. After a very short time. Hi, come. After a very short time. Yeah, not too long hereafter. After a very short time you will come to know. Yes, you will know. Yes, you will know. Yeah. So this is all. So even when Bhagavan Krishna cannot give a time frame, far be it from me to even try. Yeah. So we have to, and the knowledge is avagati paryantam. Avagati paryantam means what? Until the cognition takes place. So the cognition is already there. So one basically, what does one do? One waits for the orientations to drop. Habitual orientations. Keep plaguing oneself, because those habits were formed when one was ignorant of one's true nature. So the habits were formed long ago, so one is kind of addicted to the habits, and so the habits are gone, and then one finds that one is free. The habits are, of course, the last to go. So we just love them and make them go away, correct? Yes. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah, yes. You want to see yourself? There you are. Look. Yeah. Who's that? Yeah. Can you say bye-bye? Can you say namaste? Om. Can you say Om? Om. Yeah. Good girl. Om. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Other questions? Okay. So we shall see each other tomorrow, same time, same place. Okay? Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Good. Hari Om.